Hi, this is Joan-Marie Domino and welcome to my channel. Love is in the air, so I have put together a little mini series for doing reverse decoupage. This is part 1 of 2 parts. Let's get started. I was so excited when I found these ornaments because you know what? They open up, and you know what that means? We can put something inside of it. So these are clear plastic ornaments. I put the link below so you can get the same ones I have. And I'm going to do what's called reverse decoupage. I'm going to be putting the napkin underneath. So when you look through, you're going to see the napkin. This is a little sneak peek of the one that I'm going to do. Look how pretty that is. And don't worry, I'm going to take you step by step so you're going to be able to do this. Now, anytime you work with a smooth surface, even if it's plastic, we want to give it a quick cleaning by wiping it down with an alcohol pad. It's just a simple, plain, nothing special. I'm going to do the fronts and the inside. Now that I've wiped down the plastic heart, I want to show you the napkin that I chose. It's a beautiful floral heart. And I chose this one because in my mini series, there's 2 different parts. This is the easiest way for me to show you. It's the clearest view. In my second one, you're going to see how you can use any napkin. All right, I'm going to take my water brush. Now, my water brush has a tube of water. The water feeds into the brush, making it very simple to do the next step. I'm doing a deckled edge, what's called a soft water tear. I'm going to take the brush. I'm just going to trace around the heart very easily. The water is weakening the napkin, and I'm able to do a nice, soft, gentle tear, and I'm going to get that beautiful deckled edge. That deckled edge is so important with decoupage because what happens is it blends right in with the paint. Now on to the next step. All right, with decoupage, we only use the top printed ply of the napkin. So I'm going to take a little bit of Mod Podge and I'm going to put it between my fingers. What I'm doing is I'm separating the napkin. I'm going to take that top printed ply and remove it from the 2 back plies that are not printed, and this one actually has 2 back plies. Sometimes they only have 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to remove the other ply. All right, I want to hold up this heart and I'm going to put the ornament on top of it so that you can get an idea of what I'm talking about with reverse decoupage, okay? You're going to be looking through the ornament. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to tell you is about these ornaments themselves. They snap together, okay, which means that on one side, if you put something going up to the edge, it's just going to peel off, okay? So we're going to be decoupaging on the part that snaps on top. I hope that you understand that. All right, I'm going to be using Glossy Mod Podge, and I'm going to put that on top of the heart on the one side. This is the side that snaps on top, okay? I just want to show you that if you do it the other way, the napkin might peel off. Just a little tip there. All right, once I'm all done smoothing it out, and now I'm going to put on the piece of napkin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the napkin. And remember, we're doing reverse. That means I'm going to be putting it on upside down. So I'm going to carefully get it lined up the best that I can. And that looks about right. And I'm going to take my fingers and I'm just going to pat it down and smooth it a little bit. But I am going to put a piece of saran wrap on because this really does work. I'm going to place it on top. And I'm going to use my fingers a little bit, but you know what really works is a wadded up piece of napkin. Those are just the back plies, and I'm smoothing from the center out just like that. Now I'm going to very carefully lift off the saran wrap. I'm kind of peeling it away, and remember that is wet, so it's going to be sticky. So you just want to hold it around the edges. I want to show you, look how pretty that is. That's what I mean by reverse decoupage. You can see the napkin from underneath. Oh, I love that. All right, now some of the edges are sticking up a little bit, but that is not a problem. You just put a little bit of Mod Podge on your brush and go all the way around the edges. So anytime you see a little piece of napkin sticking up, all you have to do is tuck a little bit of Mod Podge under it. See there? And then just smooth it down. So once I have it down, it looks good to me and nothing is sticking up. I'm going to put the cover on my Mod Podge because if I don't, I know it'll fall over. Now I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to give it a dry. I'm just going to wave it over the heart so that the glue will start to dry. All right, once the glue is dry, the decoupage glue is dry, I'm ready to go on to the next step. The next step with reverse decoupage would be putting on the paint, okay? Putting the paint on means that when you turn the ornament over, the plastic, and you look through it, the colors will pop. That paint will be underneath, and you'll be able to see the image and that beautiful design very, very clearly. Now, the only thing is you have to put on what's called a barrier, okay? Before you put paint on, a barrier is going to prevent that paint from seeping through and coming through the other side. All right, so what am I going to use as my barrier between the napkin and the paint? I'm going to use Duraclear Gloss Varnish. The Duraclear is a sealant. I can put that on top of the napkin and I don't have to worry about the paint seeping through the napkin because when you turn it around, you would see big blotches of white paint. That's why it's so important to put a sealant on. Glossy Duraclear Varnish is perfect for this. Now, I am going to do 2 coats and I'm going to tell you nice thin coats is all you need to do. Go over the entire heart, including where there isn't any napkin. All right, I'm done with my first coat of Duraclear, and now I'm going to give it a little dry, and I'm going to use this little heat gun I got. I love this heat gun because it's very safe. It's meant for crafting, especially these kinds of crafts. Now, I'm going to show you something else. This is a heat gun. It was used a lot for embossing. This is not a safe gun to use when you're drying things. That tip gets very, very hot. This is a much safer way to dry your projects. All right, once it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat on. But now I want to give you a really, really big tip. Why am I using Duraclear and not using Mod Podge? All right, I'm not using Mod Podge as a sealant because per the manufacturer, it takes almost 30 days to cure. It's not about drying, it's about curing. And if you put that on first and then you put your paint on, what happens is the paint crackles. With the Duraclear varnish, there is a less likelihood of that happen. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put on coat number 2. And again, I'm using a nice thin coat and I'm going to go over the whole heart. So I'm even putting the Duraclear on where there isn't any napkin. All right, I'm done with my second coat of Duraclear and I'm going to get my little heating gun here and I'm going to go over the heart until all of the sealant is dry. And once the sealant is dry, I'm ready to go on to the next step, which is to add the paint. This is the paint I'm using. It's Waverly White Chalk Paint. Now, chalk paint is very thick. Anytime you use it, you should give it a stir because if you don't, what happens is the further down the container you get, the thicker and thicker the paint will get. So I stirred mine, I put a little bit on my plate, and I'm ready to start pouncing some white paint on back of the heart. And I'm actually going now, remember, I'm now on top of that napkin and I can go right to the edge. Why? Because I'm using the side that snaps on top. Just a little reminder. All right, so I'm going to pounce all over the heart. And before I go any further, I want to flip it over and show you. Look at how the colors pop with that white paint on top. That's why it's so important to put that paint. And of course, it's important to have that sealant because that sealant really does prevent that paint from seeping through that napkin. So I'm going to go over the whole heart. Okay, and I got chalk paint on my finger, especially my fingernails. So here's a big, big tip. Have some little handy wipes or baby wipes right on your crafting table because the quicker you get that paint off, the less likely it's going to stick to your fingernails because, yes, fingernails are smooth and chalk paint will adhere to them. All right, now that it's done, I'm going to go ahead, put those aside, and get my little heat gun, and I'm going to go over the paint until it's basically dry. But you know what? You're always better off to give it a little air time as well. All right, now that it is dry, I want to turn it over so that you can see how beautiful it is. And look how the edge of the napkin blends in, but also you notice there's no crackling. That's what happens when you use Mod Podge instead of using a sealant like Duraclear. Okay, now we're going to move on to doing the back of the heart. All right, this is the napkin that I chose. It's so pretty, a butterfly. And I'm going to give you a little sneak look. So there's the napkin we're looking through. This napkin is going to be decoupaged on top. And the fabulous thing about it is you're not going to see either napkin from either side. All right, I'm going to show you how we're going to do a soft water tear on this napkin because as you see, this napkin does not have a heart-shaped print, but it doesn't mean we can't use it. So I'm just going to put the heart about where I want. That's going to be at where I'm going to tear the edge of the napkin, and that looks very good. I'm going to use my water brush again, and I'm going to trace around the heart. And as I trace around the heart, I am peeling it away. So I'm holding down the heart. I've got some pressure on top so that the heart doesn't slide. All right, I'm just going to finish the top up there. Let me see. Okay, just got to pick a little bit more off, but that's fine. All right, there you go. It's not a heart-shaped pattern, but we have a heart shape out of that napkin design. Okay, now I'm going to separate the plies like I did last time. I'm going to use a little bit of Mod Podge. I'm going to put some between my fingers and makes my fingers sticky so I'm able to separate the printed ply from the plain ones. And it looks like I got both plies, the back plies, off at one time. That's always good. All right, now we can get ready to put the napkin on top of the back of the heart. So this piece of napkin going on is like our regular way we would decoupage. It is not reverse decoupaging. So we have to paint down first a nice thin layer of Mod Podge. And now we're going to take the heart-shaped napkin with the butterfly. We tore it into that shape. And I'm going to place it down right side up. And I'm going to position it about where I want it. I actually use that bottom tip of the heart to kind of guide me. I'm using my fingers, tapping it down, smoothing it out a little bit, but you know, I am going to go ahead and put my saran wrap on top. This is such a great tip because when you do that, you really smooth out the napkin and you get rid of those wrinkles and all those little embossing dots you see on the edges. They all go away. Alrighty, I'm going to peel away the saran wrap and I'm going to do it very, very carefully. And that looks very, very good. I'm going to hold it up. Of course, I want you to see it. Look how pretty it is. Oh, I love it. I love this napkin. Isn't it pretty? But look, you can't see either napkin through either side. All right, I see I've got a few little frayed edges sticking up there. But again, just like the other side, I'm just going to smooth it down with a little bit of Mod Podge that's already on my brush. And I am loving how this is coming out. I'm going to take my little heat gun here and I'm going to give it a quick little dry. This little heat gun, it works so well. Okay, so once the heart is dry, I'm going to show you the edge. All right, because the napkin, the background is pink, but I painted it white, you can see the white around the pink napkin, but that's okay. I actually like doing that, but in this particular case, I want to show you another option, which is to add a little bit of color around the napkin. So this is a light pink. It is a little bit deeper than the napkin background, but that's okay. So I have a little sponge pouncer. It's like my other ones. By the way, they come in all different sizes. I absolutely love them. And I'm just going to go around the napkin, and I'm actually pouncing on top of the napkin as well, as you can see. All right, and now I'm going to do what I like to call a blush on this napkin. I'm going to take a little bit of that pink paint and I'm just going to tap it here and there right on top of the napkin, even on top of the print, just a little bit, because it's really helping it blend together. And of course, I'm still using my little sponge pouncer. And I'm going to take my heat gun, which I love, really does do a good job. I'm telling you, it's much safer than that other one. Once the heart is dry, I'm going to go on to my next step. And if you are new to my channel, one of the things I like to do is add glitter to my project. And by the way, if you are new, welcome. I hope you are enjoying this project. Okay, that's the extreme glitter paint. That's a very fine glitter, gives a lot of sparkle. I also like the Mod Podge extreme glitter. That's the glue. That gives a lot of sparkle as well. But I am going to be using the glitter paint. And I'm going to hold up the one I already did. Look how pretty that is. Such a delicate glitter, but it looks so good. All right, with the glitter paint, the first thing you want to do is you want to kind of shake it up and get the glitter all mixed in really well. Oh, and by the way, I know I'm talking to my new viewers, but I got to give a shout out to my returning viewers. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. And I know a lot of you meet up with me on my Facebook page, so thank you so much for that. I love your support and I love making new crafting friends. So if you are a new viewer, make sure you go on over to my Facebook page. So it looks like I might be a little liberal with the glitter paint, but that's okay. I always buy multiple bottles anyway. All right, that white you see up there, that's going to dry, and all you're going to see is that glitter. All right, I'm going to do a little bit more touching up. I'm going to be a little bit picky. Now I'm going to go find my heat gun, and there it is. And I'm going to wave it over and give it a little dry. As it's drying, the white is going away and all you're going to see is this beautiful glitter. Well, what do you think of this project? We did reverse decoupage, we did regular decoupage, and you know what else we did? We put one napkin on top of another and of course, finished everything off with that beautiful extreme glitter paint. I think I might give it another coat of the extreme glitter paint. All right, while that's drying, coming up next, I'm going to add a little bit more pizzazz. So now I'm going to add some more sparkle, bling, razzmatazz. And I have this beautiful sequin ribbon. My sister gave me this and I have been itching to put it on some project. And I think this is going to look beautiful going all the way around the edge of this heart. Now, I am doing it on the part that is snapping onto the other one. Okay, I just want to make sure we remember this one is snapping over the other one. However, I'm still going to go back a little bit from the edge with the glue and with the sequin ribbon. So you're going to see as I put it on, I'm going to hold it up because I want to make sure you understand what I'm talking about. See, I caught you guys covered. I always take you step by step. I'm giving you really good tips. I love you guys. I love sharing tips. And you know what? I love when you share tips with me as well. All right, shout out to my sister for giving me this beautiful sequin ribbon. I'm going to show you the top part of the box. I'm just going to remind you again that there's that little edge. That is going to slip underneath the part that I decoupage. That's why you want to keep things away from the edge on the top one that I'm going to do now. Now, before I move on, I am going to clean this a little bit with alcohol just to get the smudges off and some of the glue that was sticking to it. You are going to be able to open it anytime you want. And I'm going to get to that in a little while. I'm going to give you some tips. But for right now, I want to add some embellishments. So those are some pearls I got from the Dollar Tree. And that's just a little rose I had in my stash. All right. So I'm going to pick up the little heart box again. And I'm going to snap it together because I want you to take a look at the edge. Okay. Oops. I have hand lotion on, so it's sliding out of my hand. All right, so let me hold it up and take a look at the edge. You see what I mean? How I didn't go quite to the edge. I left a little tiny bit there. All right, it's going to snap in much better if you follow those tips. I love that these are little boxes and you can put things inside. Now, I added a little bit of the pearls at the top, and I'm not done yet. One thing I want to point out to you is if you string a piece of ribbon through the front and the back, you're going to have to remove it anytime you want to open it. So I've come up with a different way of doing it so that you can open, you can get inside, and you can clean it if you need to. All right, so this is the ribbon that I chose. It's very thin and it's going to fit well through the hole, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to cut a piece, and I'm just going to cut probably a piece that's a little bit longer than I need, and I'm going to go ahead and take the two ends together, and I'm going to make a knot like that. Now, instead of putting it through the little hole like I was just showing you, I'm actually going to glue it to the top right there where the little strings of pearls are. I'm going to attach the little piece of ribbon with hot glue, and I am using my Sure Bonder glue gun, which I really love. This one has the fine tip. That means you can get into little spaces like I have there. All right, so I'm going to take my ribbon. I'm actually going to trim those ends off, but I want to keep that knot. That's very important. I'm going to press the little knot into the glue, and up against that little space, that little hole there, which is where you would normally thread the ribbon through. But I'm putting it actually right in front. All right, so that ribbon is going to stay there, but I'm actually going to put the rose on top just to make sure. It's going to give it extra strength. All right, so I found this little rose in my stash, and what is going on here? Okay, it's all that glue strings, right? I hate when that happens. I'm going to put some glue on the back. And then, like I said, I'm going to take it and I'm going to place it right on top of that knot. So we're going to hide the knot, and we're also going to give it extra strength. I think this little pink flower was the perfect choice because it's a really good size. It doesn't overwhelm and especially complements the napkins that I used. All right, let me show you how I finished this off. I put a few more little touches in there by adding a pearl in the middle of the flower. And I want to show you that beautiful sequin ribbon, you know, the ones my sister gave me that I put around the edge that looks so nice. And here is the back. I put a little pearl up there on top. And don't I added all of that glitter on the back. Now, I put the hanger on the front on, I guess you would say the box top, if you're going to think of it like that. So you can open and close it as much as you want, because remember, you could put something inside of this and it would make a perfect gift. So speaking of perfect gift, I was thinking about, now that I've made this beautiful heart-shaped box and I want to give it as a gift, what can we put inside? Maybe we can put candy. Maybe we can put jewelry, maybe a gift card. I think it would make a perfect gift all in itself, just giving the beautiful heart-shaped box. Now, I am going to show you a few little things that I did just to give you some inspiration. And I want to say, if you are a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, well, welcome back. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Decoupage D.I.Y. with Joan-Marie Domino. Give me a thumbs up. Share with your friends. You can drop a comment. And don't forget to hit the little notification bell, because every premiere I do starts with a live, and we do that in chat. Thank you so much for watching.